I held my hand out in the sun, and my palm quickly turned bright red from the heat. The dog saw this and became restless and anxious. It was far too dangerous outside, so I locked the dog inside the car, put on my protective suit, and got out with my robot Jeff to look for food. I picked up an old trash can lid and had Jeff hold it for me. Then, I took out a bag of corn kernels and poured them directly onto the lid. The moment the corn touched the hot metal surface, it instantly popped into popcorn. The sight was so amusing that Jeff stomped his feet excitedly and kept urging me to do it again. But my expression changed instantly. A super tornado was heading straight for this abandoned town. I sped the RV away in the opposite direction. The weather instrument started blaring alarms, and the dog sensed something was wrong. At the critical moment, I slammed on the brakes, grabbed several large steel nails from the toolbox, and drove them into the ground with Jeff. We then secured the RV with heavy cables. I couldn't keep going after driving in the third nail. My body began to feel weak and lightheaded. Jeff quickly held me up and used his metal fist to drive the nail all the way in, but the delay cost us precious time. The storm was already right on top of us. I stumbled back into the RV and told Jeff to finish securing the rest. Before climbing in, I glanced back. The tornado was less than 100 meters away. I quickly locked the dog in a cabinet, activated the window shields, and opened the door to yell for Jeff to hurry inside. He crouched down to reinforce the cables even further as the twister loomed nearby. He only stood up and rushed toward the RV when the wind was practically upon him. The tornado hit the vehicle the second the door closed. I gripped the handrail tightly, but it wasn't long. The cables on both sides snapped under the fierce wind, throwing everything inside into chaos. The RV was lifted straight into the air. Fortunately, the tornado passed as quickly as it arrived. After a loud crash, the RV slammed back onto the ground. I froze for a few seconds, and realizing I had survived, I got out to inspect the damage. All the cables I had secured were broken, but the one Jeff had fastened remained firmly anchored in the ground. The front left wheel was completely destroyed. We had a spare tire, but no jack. Just as I was feeling hopeless, Jeff lifted the front of the vehicle with his bare hands. I rushed to replace the tire, then hit the gas and continued driving. As I drove, I couldn't help but smile. I had built Jeff originally just to help take care of the dog, but he had done so much more for me. He had even begun to develop his own consciousness, growing more human by the day. Hours later, we stopped to rest at an abandoned restaurant by the road. While I stepped inside to use the restroom, Jeff secretly started the RV. By the time I ran out, he had parked it directly under the scorching sun. I lost my temper immediately and called him over to scold him. The UV index was now over 60. Any living creature exposed to the sun would suffer severe skin burns in a single second. By moving the vehicle out of the shade, he could have gotten us killed.
I'm sorry.
I know you were born yesterday, but it's time for you to grow up!
After speaking, I turned and walked back into the restaurant. Jeff grew deeply depressed and hid in the bedroom. I drove the RV to a remote area and patiently taught him how to drive. We stopped to rest that night. Jeff asked me why we didn't travel at night. Nighttime was even more perilous, because we would run into other survivors. Human nature was far more terrifying than the harsh environment. The next morning, Jeff was on watch when the dog started barking sharply. He rushed inside and found me bent over the toilet. The terrible ultraviolet radiation had given me cancer years earlier. When I woke up from passing out, Jeff was gone. I struggled out of bed, put on my protective suit, and immediately went outside to look for him. I never could have imagined that, while I was unconscious, Jeff had driven the RV into the city and gone out alone to search for supplies. The area was full of danger, and if we ran into other survivors, the consequences would be unthinkable. I had to find Jeff right away. Thankfully, I arrived just in time, and he hadn't gone far. I quickly led him out of the building. I forced myself into the driver's seat and slammed on the gas to escape, but we had already made too much noise. The scavengers would never let us get away.